Hi guys, and welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I will explain what you can do in the first few hours and first few days of patch 10.0.7 in order to make millions of gold. So patch 10.0.7 will be launched on Wednesday next week, and you can do a couple of things in order to really make a lot of gold during the first few hours. And this is something that I would highly recommend you to focus on if you want to make a lot of gold at the beginning of this new patch. So the first thing I would recommend you to do on all your different characters is to go in Zul'Gurub and kill all the different mobs that have a chance at dropping the new recipes and plants that will be added into the game in patch 10.0.7, because all these different plants and recipes will be BOEs, which means that you will be able to then sell them on the auction house for a lot of gold. And normally, if it stays the same as it is right now, you should be able to get these different plants and recipes even on players that don't have the right profession. So normally anyone should be able to get some of these BOE plants and recipes and then to sell them on the auction house. And keep in mind, during the first few days, for some of them, you will probably be able to sell them for a couple of 100,000 gold. So really, this is a good thing to do, and you can do it normally on all your different characters. Then, of course, what I would recommend you to do is to craft some of these new items, because you will be able to make a lot of gold during the first few hours and first few days, because some of them are new appearances. For instance, this weapon right here, and some of them are like kind of back to the game, but still a lot of people will be interested in getting all these appearances. And so if you can start crafting them as soon as patch 10.0.7 is launched, you will probably be able to make a lot of gold during the first few days. And keep in mind, this is something that is directly linked to the auction house and not the crafting order system, because these items are binds when equipped, and so you can directly sell them on the auction house. So what you can already do, of course, is start upgrading your different professions, especially blacksmithing, because this is going to be the most interesting one with Classic WoW. So really just focus on upgrading the profession with Classic WoW. Normally, it's really not too difficult, and it shouldn't take too much time. And like that, you will then be able to get your hands on some of these recipes and to start crafting these weapons. For instance, I'm sure that people who will be able to get the recipe to craft this one right here in the first few hours or first few days will be able to make millions of gold just by selling this item on the auction house, especially if you're playing on a high pop realm or full pop realm. So really, if you haven't started to upgrade some of these professions yet, you can always try to get it on one of your alts or one of your characters, and then you can just upgrade your profession with Classic WoW, and like that you will be prepared for patch 10.0.7, and like that you will be able to sell all these items for a lot of gold on the auction house. And of course, what you can do is to also farm all the different materials that will be needed in order to craft all these different items and to sell them on the auction house, because some of them are going to be selling for a lot of gold, and there's going to be a huge increase in the demand. So as you can see, you have all the existing materials such as the Arcanate bars, Massive Mojo, all the different bars and all these different things. You also have like a few that will normally be returning into the game, such as the Kurubashi Mojo Madness. And then you have two items that will also be back into the game. Right now they are unobtainable, so it's very difficult to get your hands on some of them. So it means that these ones will be extremely profitable in the first few hours, because people won't be able to prepare in advance. And only when the patch will be released, people will be able to start farming all these materials. And as everyone will start crafting these items at the same time, these materials will probably sell very fast and for a lot of gold. And as we are now playing with a region-wide auction house, these will sell extremely fast. So I would highly recommend you to also focus on these returning materials. And normally we have two returning materials, and these are the primal bats and tiger levers that normally dropped from the ancient bats and ancient tigers in Zul'Gurub, but these two mobs were removed from the game a long time ago. And so until now, it was impossible to farm new levers and new primal bats. So try to do that, and I'm sure during the first few days you will really be able to make a lot of gold with these materials. Then with patch 10.0.7 you will be able to get a new item called the Onyx Amulet. This is a finger, and as you can see, you will be able to use 3 primordial sockets with this finger. So this is definitely going to be one of the most powerful items in patch 10.0.7, and also probably one of the best items to have for the release of patch 10.1. And this is probably also going to be a very fun item because you can then use some of these primordial stones, and all of them have different type of effects and abilities. So you can really try and build your own amulets that can be very powerful. One thing that is very important to mention is the fact that you can upgrade your primordial stones using these unstable elementiums. And in order to craft these unstable elementiums, you will need to go through the crafting order system, and a jewel crafter will need to craft it for you. So if you are paying on the jewel crafter, I would highly recommend you to do the following in order to get your hands on the recipe and to then be able to craft these through the crafting order system. Because trust me, the first people on your realm who will be able to get their hands on these recipes and will be able to start crafting these elementiums will make a lot of gold. So basically, in order to get the recipe, you will need to kill the rare Amephyst that is located in the Forbidden Reach. So in order to summon this rare, all you need to do is to come right here in the market village, and you want to talk to Trader Ag Art. And basically this trader will sell you all these different recipes for 10 artisan's metal, and the one you need is the crystal turning fork. So then with this fork, as you can see, you will be able to craft one of these crystal turning fork, the epic version, and you can then use this fork in a specific area in order to summon this rare. All you need in order to craft this crystal turning fork is the crystal fork, and this is an item that can drop from all the different creatures in the Forbidden Reach, probably also from the different rares. So this is something normally you should be able to get pretty easily, and then again you can turn it into one of these crystal turning fork. Then when you have your fork, all you want to do is come into this cave right here in just next to the main town, and then you want to enter this cave, and inside in the end of the cave you will have this resonant crystal. And then when you have the fork, you can click on it, summon the rare and kill it, and then you have a chance at getting this recipe in order to then craft these unstable elementiums. So as you can see, you will need to be level 70 in order to summon the rare, and also all the other mobs that are in the cave are level 70. So if your jewel crafter is not level 70 yet, I would highly recommend you to upgrade and to leveling up, because like that you will be able to start farming this rare and hopefully get your hands on this really interesting recipe. Finally, with patch 10.0.7, we are getting a few new pets, and what I would always recommend you when there is a new expansion or a new patch is to try and get your hands on these new pets as soon as possible, because if you are the first ones selling them on the auction house, most likely you will find a few collectors who will be willing to spend quite a lot of gold in order to get them as soon as possible. And like that, you will be able to make quite a lot of gold very easily. So I'm not sure which ones are going to be tradable or not, meaning the ones you can actually learn and then cage and sell on the auction house. But anyway, I think probably all of them will be pretty interesting, and you can definitely make a lot of gold with all these different pets. So if you have a chance at getting some of them, try to do it, and hopefully you will be able to then sell them for a lot of gold. So that's pretty much it for today's video. I really hope it will help you make a lot of gold in patch 10.0.7. Keep in mind, you really want to make some of these activities as soon as the patch will be released, because if you wait even just a few weeks, probably a lot of these items will have a huge decrease in value. And so if you want to make as much profit as possible with some of these items, you want to do it in the first few hours and first few days. I will be back very soon with more guides and more videos, and in the meantime, I wish you all a great day. Bye!